It's 3 in the morning. You are lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The room is quiet, but your mind won't shut up. Thoughts start racing before you can stop them. What if your car doesn't start tomorrow? What if your laptop suddenly dies? What if your boss calls you into their office? What if medical bill shows up out of nowhere? Your heart beats a little faster. You check your phone, even though you know nothing has changed. This isn't weakness. This is what financial stress actually feels like. Now imagine this. What if a single number could quiet most of those thoughts? Not eliminate every problem, not make life perfect, but remove the constant background panic. Most people assume financial milestones are meaningless, just random numbers rich people talk about. But that's not true. Certain dollar amounts change how your brain works. They change how you make decisions. They change how you experience everyday life. And the first truly life-changing number isn't $1 million. It's not even $100,000. It's $10,000. My name is Proffit. I spend a lot of time thinking about money, not just how to earn it, but how it changes behavior, how it affects confidence, and why some people stay calm under pressure while others feel trapped. If you've ever wondered what it actually feels like to reach a savings milestone, keep watching, because before $10,000 changes your life, you need to understand what life looks like without it. Picture yourself in a grocery store. You're standing in the cereal aisle. 2 boxers in front of you. One looks good, one is cheaper. You're not choosing based on taste. You're choosing based on fear. You grab the cheaper one. Not because you want to, but because you feel like you have to. Later that week, your phone buzzes. Friends want to go out to dinner. You stare at the message. You start doing math in your head. $25. Plus tax, plus tip. You type a reply. You make up an excuse. Not because you don't want to go, but because one dinner could mess up your entire week. This is paycheck to paycheck living. Every decision feels heavy. Every purchase feels risky. You're not planning for the future. You're surviving the present. You're constantly reacting, always playing defense. Now here's where things start to change. When you save your first $10,000, nothing flashy happens. You don't suddenly feel rich. You don't upgrade your lifestyle. You don't wake up a different person. But something subtle shifts. Something internal. The first thing that changes is how risk feels. When you have no savings, everything feels dangerous. Changing jobs feels terrifying. Speaking up at work feels risky. Taking time off feels irresponsible. Even small choices feel loaded. But when $10,000 sits quietly in your account, those same decisions feel different. Not easy, but manageable. You're not reckless. You're not fearless. You are just no longer trapped. You might finally ask for that raise. You might apply for that promotion. You might invest in a skill you've been putting off. The money doesn't make you bold. It makes you calm. And calm people make better decisions. There's also something happening inside your body. Financial stress raises cortisol. That's your main stress hormone. High cortisol means poor sleep, poor focus, poor judgment. Now think about a check engine light. When you're broke, it feels like disaster. Your stomach drops, your mind spirals. You imagine worst-case scenarios instantly. But when you have saving, that same light is just annoying. You're frustrated, but you're not panicked. That difference matters more than most people realize, because panic hijacks decision-making. Calm creates clarity. When you're calm, you sleep better, you think clearer, you're more patient with people, you show up differently at work. Money stress doesn't stay in your bank account. It spills into every part of life. And removing that stress changes everything. Here's the part most people misunderstand. The biggest benefit of $10,000 isn't spending it. It's knowing it exists. This is the emergency fund effect. Most people with savings never actually use it for emergencies. The money just sits there, quietly doing its job, providing peace of mind, creating mental space. Instead of panic, you get patience. Instead of fear, you get time. That confidence shows up everywhere. You negotiate better. You walk away from bad deals. You don't tolerate situations that drain you, and people notice. Now, let's address the thought you're probably having. $10,000 sounds impossible, especially if you're struggling to save anything at all. Here's the truth. Saving money isn't the hardest part. Becoming a saver is most people treat saving like a punishment. They go extreme. They cut everything fun. They burn out. Then they quit. The people who succeed think differently. They don't say, "I'm trying to save." They say, "I'm someone who saves." That identity changes behavior automatically. You You start noticing waste. You start thinking long-term. You delay gratification without feeling deprived. And here's the surprising part. It gets easier. The first $1,000 is brutal. The second is still hard. By the time you reach $5,000 or $6,000, the system runs on autopilot. Habits replace willpower. There's also a practical reason. $10,000 is powerful. It covers most financial emergencies, car repairs, medical bills, family emergencies, short-term job loss. Once you hit this milestone, you're protected from the most common financial disasters. You stop living one expense away from collapse. But the biggest shift happens in how you think about money. Before savings, money feels fragile. Every dollar feels temporary. After $10,000, money becomes a tool. That's when investing starts to make sense. Not because you're suddenly an expert, but because you finally have mental bandwidth. When rent isn't terrifying, you can think about retirement. When groceries aren't stressful, you can think about growth. Here's something that surprises most people. Someone with $10,000 saved is often closer to financial independence than someone earning twice as much with nothing saved. Income doesn't build wealth, behavior does. You've seen this before. High earners who are always broke. Average earners who quietly build security. The difference is mindset. And saving $10,000 forces that mindset. Now let's talk about real-world impact. $10,000 handles most car problems. It handles most medical surprises. It buys you 3 to 6 months if you lose your job. That time changes everything. You don't accept the first offer out of fear. You choose your next move carefully. But it also creates opportunity. That's certification that boosts your income. Now it's possible. That business idea you've been sitting on. Now it's realistic. That networking event you would have skipped. Now it's an investment. Options feel different than limitations. Savings create options. And here's something most people don't expect. You sleep better. Literally. Studies show people with emergency savings report better sleep, better health, better relationships. Money stress destroys focus. It drains emotional energy. Removing it changes how you show up with people. And no, $10,000 doesn't make you rich. You still think twice before big purchases. You're still careful. But you finally have breathing room, and breathing room is where smart decisions live. When you're not gasping for air financially, you notice inefficiencies. You renegotiate bills. You optimize expenses. Small wins compound faster. There's another psychological shift worth mentioning. When you have no savings, every dollar feels dangerous to lose. When you have 10,000 saved individual dollars, feel less threatening. That makes you more willing to invest in growth. You attend events. You invest in skills. You take calculated risks. That's why financially secure people often advance faster. Not because money guarantees success, but because fear no longer controls decisions. Finally, let's talk about something finance content rarely mentions: the social impact of money stress. When you're anxious about money, you avoid people. You skip events. You feel embarrassed. Savings removes that weight. You engage more. You show up confidently. You stop comparing constantly. So no, $10,000 isn't just a number. It's a psychological upgrade. Better sleep, better decisions, better confidence, better opportunities. And if your bank balance feels discouraging right now, remember this: the most valuable part of saving your first $10,000 isn't the money. It's who you become along the way. That identity shift changes everything. Write in the comments and let me know about your plan for 2026. This is Proffit. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.